for public remembrance dates from, I would suggest, 100 years ago this year. While losses in the first 2 years of what became known as the Great War were huge and far exceeded that which might have been expected, it was the Battle of the Somme in the summer of 1916 which hit people of Britain the hardest. On the first day of the battle, which began at 7:30 on the 1st of July 1916, by the end of the day, some 60,000 British and Empire soldiers were dead, wounded, or missing. 20,000 killed. 10,000 of them in the first hour. It was the worst day in the history of the British Army, both before and since. Not a community in the country was unaffected by the losses. Many of the battalions that fought on the Somme on that first day were so-called PALS battalions, drawn from friends who had gone to school together, worked together, played in the same teams together, and died together. And some communities never recovered from those losses on that first day. Here at Newfoundland Park, at Beaumont Hamel, on the Somme on that morning, the fate of the Newfoundland Regiment, hence the Caribou. They were one of the worst affected. You see that the ground is wide open. The trees that you can see in the background were not there. There is absolutely no cover. The German line runs down the left-hand side. You see a line of trees running down from left to right. That's where the German line was, and indeed at the bottom to the right-hand side as well. It curved round. The Newfoundlanders were in the third wave, based roughly where the photo is taken from, behind the British front line. At 9:15 in the morning they attacked, alone. No other movement around them. They moved straight from their reserve trenches over the top because they could not get down through the communication trenches which were blocked by the wounded from the earlier waves. Within half an hour, of the 801 Newfoundlanders who attacked that morning, 710 were dead, wounded, or missing. The highest casualty rate of any battalion that day. The following day at roll call, 68 men answered to their name. One said, "The attack only lacked of success because dead men can advance no further." But the battle went on, day after day. There were some successes, such as Longueval and Delville Wood in mid-July, where as part of the Scottish 9th Division, the South African Brigade entered the wood with nearly 3,000 men. After 4 days of hard fighting, only some 180 came out. The battle still raged 100 years ago today, after 4.5 months. Can you remember what you were doing on the 1st of July this year? It's a long time ago now. That's when the battle started. By today, the 13th of November, it was still going on. And on the early morning of the 13th of November 1916, men of the 51st Highland Division, with the Gordon Highlanders and the 7th Black Watch, the Fife Territorial Battalion, advanced across that same ground the Newfoundlanders had gone across on the 1st of July, and finally captured that ground which should have been taken on that first day. As a result, a memorial to the 51st Highland Division, one of the most impressive on the Western Front, overlooks their objective at Beaumont Hamel. Its inscription in Gaelic reads, "It is good to have friends on the day of battle." But the cost, of course, was high. The many cemeteries on the Somme, such as this one at Wyravine, which contains the bodies of many of those Highlanders and Newfoundlanders, is testament to that. Yet, because of the intense shelling over many months, so many were never found. Hence the great memorial to the missing of the Somme at Thiepval, with its over 72,000 names of those who were never found inscribed upon it. The Somme today is full of memorials. One of the most recent, the tiny village of Contalmaison, erected a dozen or so years ago in memory of men of the 16th Battalion of the Royal Scots, whose objective this village of Contalmaison was on the 1st of July. They were always known not by that title, the 16th Royal Scots, but by and after their commanding officer, Sir George McCrae, who raised the battalion in a week in November 1914. McCrae's battalion drew in the entire Hearts football team and other professional footballers from Raith Rovers, Dunfermline Athletic, Falkirk and Hibs. Some 158 of them were killed on that first day. 3/4 of their strength were casualties, though they achieved the most advanced penetration of the enemy line that morning before being forced back. The 1st of July every year, a commemoration service is held at Contalmaison. It is a very Scottish event, and this year was larger than ever before. And it was a privilege to be present as the chairman of Dunfermline Football Club laid a wreath on the club's behalf. They were laid on behalf of the other clubs as well. It's for these men who made the ultimate sacrifice, and for their bereaved families, those who have similarly given themselves for others in later and more recent conflicts, that we bow today in remembrance. So join with me and stand, and after the last post is played by the Ypres buglers and the words of Lawrence Binion, we will observe a 2-minute silence. Please stand. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you very much. David.